Ever wondered why so many people fail their IELTS writing exam over and over again? As you can see, this student, Andy, failed it 15 times, and this student, Eileen, failed it twice. Over the last 10 years of preparing students for their IELTS test and helping over 350 students pass their IELTS exam, I've noticed 4 reasons why students repeatedly fail. In this short video, I'm going to share with you 4 deadly mistakes students make that result in them repeatedly failing the IELTS writing. Also, if you stay to the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how you can attend a free IELTS writing workshop that will teach you my unique writing strategy, a strategy you will not find elsewhere, that will help you overcome these 4 deadly mistakes and help you avoid repeatedly failing your IELTS writing. I noticed these mistakes years ago. You see, early on in my IELTS teaching career, I started to realize that not many of my students passed their IELTS writing. That made me study all the best IELTS books and websites out there and incorporate all the strategies in my teaching. But many of my students still failed, and I became very discouraged and almost wanted to quit teaching IELTS. But I decided to continue on in my research into why students kept on failing their IELTS writing, and soon I realized that these 4 deadly mistakes contributed to a lot of student failure in IELTS writing. Now, the 4 mistakes are these. Number 1, testing yourself rather than improving. Believe it or not, I've found that probably a good 90% of students make this mistake, which I'll explain about soon. Number 2, not knowing how your writing will be marked. Number 3, the curse of the unknown unknowns. This affects almost everyone also. And number 4, not putting in enough time and effort. Yes, we're all lazy, aren't we? But there's a way you can reduce the amount of time and effort needed to improve your IELTS writing score. I'll talk about that later. Stay to the end and I'll show you how you can overcome all 4 mistakes. You'll definitely not want to miss this, as it could save you hundreds of dollars in IELTS exam fees. Yes, you wouldn't want to be like this person, Joyce, who failed her exam about 8 times and said it was really a waste of money. She spent nearly $3,000 on IELTS exam fees. Let's start with the first mistake. The first mistake is testing yourself rather than improving. Here's what I mean. You see, the number 1 way students prepare for the IELTS exam and also the IELTS writing is by doing practice tests over and over again. That is, they find past year practice papers and they do it at home rather than do it in the real exam. For example, for writing task 2, they will time themselves 40 minutes and write an essay. Then they will do this as many times as they can and think that they will improve and be better prepared for the actual IELTS writing exam. Am I right to say that this is probably the way you've been preparing for your IELTS exam? The truth is that this doesn't help people improve their IELTS score. Why? If you do this, you are merely testing yourself. The purpose of taking a test is to find out your level, not to help you improve your level. So if you want to improve your IELTS level and prepare for the IELTS exam, don't make this mistake of just taking practice tests over and over again and thinking you actually improve. Testing yourself is not the same thing as improving. Later on, I'll talk about what you can do to make sure you actually improve your writing score. For now, let's go to the second reason why students fail their IELTS writing. Not knowing how your writing will be marked. What I mean is that they don't understand exactly what the IELTS examiners are looking for. If you don't already know, IELTS actually tells you how the examiners will mark your writing. It's called the band descriptors, and these are criteria through which your writing is evaluated. If you don't know these criteria exist and don't know exactly what they mean, you'll not know exactly what is required to attain your IELTS band score. So don't make this mistake of not understanding the IELTS writing band descriptors. But don't worry, I've got you covered. Later on, I'm going to show you how you can understand these 4 writing criteria easily and address them easily. Let's go to the third reason students fail their IELTS writing over and over again. This is what I call the curse of the unknown unknowns. Now, this sounds scary, and it really can be. Let me take some time to clearly explain this to you, but as I explain, don't worry so much, as at the end I'll tell you how you can actually overcome this curse. So to understand the curse of the unknown unknowns, let's take a look at this knowledge quadrant. This is a very popular way to understand and describe our knowledge of the world and the resulting effect on our learning. Let me just focus on 3 of the important windows, and I'm going to relate this to IELTS so you understand what I mean by the curse of the unknown unknowns and why this has led to many people failing their IELTS writing repeatedly. The first window, known knowns, are things that we are aware that we know. Maybe, for example, you are aware that you know the essay structure to an advantages and disadvantages essay. So, what is the effect of this on your learning? Basically nothing. You don't need to learn more about this particular area because you already know it, and that's fine. So this no known knowledge leads to no action in this area, but that's okay. The second window, known unknowns, are things that we are aware that we don't know. That is, we are aware that we don't have knowledge of an area. We know that we're not good in this area. Maybe you are aware that you're not good in your understanding or usage of your tenses. So what is the effect of this on our learning? Well, because you are aware that you're weak in tenses, you go and start learning and improving in this area, and that is good. So this known unknown knowledge leads to action, and that's good as you get better in the area you're weak in. Now, the third window, unknown unknowns, is where the problem lies. These are things that we are not aware that we don't know. These are blind spots. We are blind to our weaknesses. These are areas of weaknesses that we do not recognize or acknowledge. Say, for example, you're bad at grammar, but you're not aware of that. You think you're good at grammar, but you're actually very bad in this area. What effect does it have on your actions and your learning? Well, you will do nothing. You will not spend time improving your grammar at all because you think you're good at it. This is where it gets dangerous. This unknown knowledge leads to no action, and that's dangerous because the result is that you don't learn or improve in an area you need improvement in. This is what I call the curse of the unknown unknowns. It is about not recognizing your blind spots, not realizing the areas you are bad at, becoming too overconfident and not doing anything to improve your English or IELTS in a particular area. Why is this a curse? Why is this dangerous? Because the student who is blind to what he or she is bad at will not take any action to improve in that area. The result is that if you do not deal with that area of weakness and start improving in that area, you will repeatedly fail in that area. This curse of the unknown unknowns is real and very common. I've experienced this problem so many times over the past 10 years of my teaching. These are the messages I get every week on WhatsApp. Now, I'm not talking about every month. I probably get about 5 messages every week like these. These are students failing over and over again. They failed so many times that they finally started to look for help and found me and then WhatsApped me. This person has taken the exam 3 times and failed. This person 5 times. This 1 time, then 5 times, and 2 times. Why fail so many times? Because of the curse of the unknown unknowns. You see, this is how it often works. A student thinks he's prepared and takes the exam and fails. So he says to himself, I need to work on this area. And he does so. And he works on that known unknown area, an area he's aware he needs to improve in. He works on the area, then he thinks he's prepared, then takes the exam, but he fails again. So he thinks to himself, maybe I need to work on this area. Yeah, I think I'm weak in this area. So again, he works on that known unknown area. Then after some time, he thinks he's prepared. What happens next? He takes the exam and fails yet again. And this cycle repeats itself over and over again. Why? Because of the curse of the unknown unknowns. If you only improve in the known unknown areas, you don't address your blind spots, you're going to fail repeatedly. Does that make sense? I hope it does. This is the last mistake, not putting in enough time and effort. Let me ask you something. A student gets 6.0 in her IELTS exam and she wants 7.0. How many hours of study should she roughly put in before taking her exam again if she wants to improve by one IELTS band from 6.0 to 7.0? Think of this for a while. Did you know that there's an actual statistic for this hidden somewhere? Here's what the IELTS 2002 handbook says. It says that it has been shown that individuals can take up to 200 hours to improve by one IELTS band. Yes, 200 hours. And yes, this was taken from the IELTS handbook in 2002. It's not mentioned from the 2003 handbook onwards. Why? Maybe because learning how many hours is needed to improve by one IELTS band scares a lot of students, and rightly so. I have to say, that's definitely a scary thought to most people wanting to pass the IELTS exam. How many of you have 200 hours of study time? Most of you are probably working adults, and I know you don't have that much time to study and improve. You can now understand why many people fail in the IELTS exam, and especially the IELTS writing paper, over and over again. If you don't put in enough time and effort, you're not going to pass your IELTS writing. Okay, let me pause here. I've talked a lot. Let me recap all 4 major mistakes again, and I'm going to tell you how you can address all of these 4 mistakes. To recap, the 4 mistakes are: number 1, testing yourself rather than improving; number 2, not knowing how your writing will be marked; number 3, the curse of the unknown unknowns; and number 4, not putting in enough time and effort. Now, how can you deal with these 4 mistakes? Once I realized the important role that these 4 deadly mistakes have in preventing students from passing their IELTS writing, I made it a mission of mine to find a way that could help these students dramatically improve. Eventually, after some time, I started to formulate my own strategies and methods, and I've been teaching these to my students and refining them for the past 5+ years. The strategies and methods I teach have helped hundreds of students pass their IELTS writing. Here's what some students have said. This is Mawandi. He has an incredible story. He spent 2 years preparing for the IELTS exam, went to 3 different IELTS schools and took the exam 15 times and failed all 15 times. He got 6.5 for his writing all the time. Finally, he came to my writing classes and used my writing strategies, and in his next try, he got 7.0 and passed his exam. This is Iro. She got 6.0 in her IELTS exam. She came to my writing classes and she said she just followed the IELTS writing strategies and she improved by 1.0 and got 7.0. This is Joyce. She took the exam about 8 times and failed before she came to my class. She always got 6.0 or 6.5 before. After she attended my class and used all the writing techniques I taught, she finally passed. You can also go to www.ieltsuniversity.com/writing-improvement to read all the testimonials of students who only passed their IELTS writing after coming to my IELTS classes and implementing my IELTS writing strategies. Now, I'm not here to talk about my IELTS classes. If you want to find out more, you can go to www.ieltsuniversity.com. I'm here to tell you how you can overcome those 4 mistakes using the writing strategy I created. This strategy addresses the 4 deadly mistakes I just talked about. It helps you actually improve instead of just test yourself. It helps you to almost automatically and effortlessly improve in all 4 writing criteria. It helps you address your unknown unknowns, and it helps you shortcut your learning process and save time. Now, this strategy is not going to help you automatically pass your IELTS or help you automatically get the score you want without any work on your part. For me to say that would be an insult to your intelligence. So please don't get me wrong, I'm not offering you a magic bullet that will help you solve all your IELTS writing problems. But I can almost guarantee you that you'll find nothing else in other schools or even online that will help you improve your IELTS writing as effectively and efficiently as this strategy. A few months ago, I was going through some records I got from students who passed their IELTS exam and IELTS writing only after using the strategies I taught in my class, the same writing strategy I'm going to teach you for free in my free class I'll mention about later on. I compiled some statistics on an Excel spreadsheet, and here is just a fraction of what I compiled. I couldn't show you the whole Excel spreadsheet as I couldn't possibly fit all of them on a slide, or it'll look something like this, totally unreadable. So these are just some highlights. You can see the number of times students failed their IELTS exam and IELTS writing before coming to my classes. Many students failed twice, or 4 times, or 8 times, even up to 15 times. And then to the right is how much their IELTS writing improved immediately after attending my classes and learning my writing strategy. People experienced a writing band score improvement from 0.5 up to 2.0. So this strategy I'm going to teach you definitely works. Now, if you want to learn this strategy, I'm running a free IELTS writing workshop to teach students this strategy of mine. I'm revealing it for the first time to people outside my class. I'm not sure how long I'm going to run these workshops for. Yes, this is free, but there's a limited number of seats available. So if you're interested to attend this free IELTS writing workshop, click or tap the link that is in or around this video to learn more and register for this free IELTS writing workshop. Thank you for your time.